But I do believe that if the right piece, and maybe it's Nazem Kadri, maybe it's another center, maybe it's another top six forward, if that piece is available to Ken Hughes and transaction makes sense, then he'll be ready whenever that is.
TSN's Darren Drager on the morning show. Is Nazem Kadri a fit for the Montreal Canadiens? Habs Lunch. I'm Sean Campbell. He's Mitch Gallo. That's out there. Canadiens top of the standings. Flames bottom of the standings. Let's make a deal.
Campbell, I'm a little bit torn on this one with Nazem Kadri because I like Nazem Kadri a lot as a player. And, the question you asked, is Nazem Kadri a fit for the Canadiens? The short answer to that question is yes. Of course he's a fit. And he produces. All he's done is produce. Last year, he scored 35 goals. This year, he's got 8 points in 11 games. But is he the best fit possible? Now, if I'm the Montreal Canadiens, you have to do your due diligence. You have to look at every situation. You have to look at all 31 teams. You have to look at what they have coming up, what they have currently on the roster, who is available now, who might be available in the future. If you pull the trigger on Nazem Kadri, that is your move at center ice. Because Kadri is under contract for 4 more years. He's 35 years old. He's got 4 more years at $7 million. So that is your guy. I don't know this better than the Canadiens would know this. Who is the best on their list? Kadri's for sure on their list. He has to be on their list. He's a point-producing center that would fit perfectly on the second line. But would he be the most perfect fit of anybody that they have on their list? That I do not know.
No. You know who's on that list, and you know who's the perfect fit, and you know who's on the top of that list. We can, Voldemort it up and not say his name if you want, but on that list of candidates for the future position at center ice with the Montreal Canadiens, Mitch, don't beat around the bush. That name's Crosby.
Yeah, but you don't know if he's ever going to even become available.
But here's
right?
but I'm with you. If you go for Kadri,
if you make the trade, the trade for Kadri, then Crosby's kind of out of the equation at that point.
That's the point. So do you not do that because you have a 4% chance of landing Sidney Crosby within the next 2 years? It's a legitimate question.
That's where you have to do your analysis. That's where you have to figure out, is Crosby going to become available? Like Campbell, I like to think that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody around the National Hockey League is talking about Crosby needing to go play in the playoffs again. Not only people around the National Hockey League, Campbell, like you have his agent Pat Brisson saying it publicly.
I know, but that's why he's playing like he's playing right now, is because he's just going to go do it and play in the playoffs with the Penguins.
And it looks like that's what he wants to do.
Right.
If that's the case, if he wants to be a Penguin for life, you still have to find a solution at center.
Yeah, that's option number 1 for him, is not go anywhere, stay as a Penguin, make the playoffs, and win a Stanley Cup. That's option number 1 for him.
But for the purpose of this exercise, I am going to assume that Sidney Crosby is not moving.
Mm-hmm. Which we probably should.
To me, if there's a 40% chance, maybe I wait. Maybe I wait. I don't do anything. And my plan, if Crosby doesn't come to Montreal, is when I'm ready to compete for the Stanley Cup, Michael Hage is playing second-line center. Mm-hmm. Maybe that ultimately is the best strategy because you're holding out hope on Crosby. But the Canadiens want to add a second-line center. There's no question. I'm taking Crosby out of the equation here, Campbell, and I don't know where Kadri, who's 35 years old, would rank on their list for potentially for the potential of a center that could be available. I don't know. I also don't know what it would cost Montreal as far as prospects to bring in that player, and I don't know if Calgary would be willing to eat some of the $7 million and what that would cost. I also don't know how good Nazem Kadri is going to be in 2 years when he's 37 rather than 35. There's a lot of question marks with that deal. Somebody I find intriguing, and I find him more intriguing than Nazem Kadri. And I know people will probably snicker at this name because he's not as sexy a name as a Nazem Kadri, and he hasn't produced nearly as much as Kadri has. But if I'm looking for a second line center I wonder about Pavel Zacha with the Boston Bruins. Zacha is a player that has almost hit 60 points. This year, he's got 10 points in 12 games. He is 7 years younger than Nazem Kadri. His salary cap hit is $2 million less on the cap than Nazem Kadri. And I think the kicker here, and we've seen a track record with this, so it's not just, talking about something that's irrelevant. He's represented by Cortex. Wasn't necessarily Kent Hughes' client, but same agency.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'4", Campbell. He's 212 pounds. He's a big body. He's been able to score more than 20 goals. If I just look at prototypical second line center after Nick Suzuki, I would be more interested in a 28-year-old Pavel Zacha than I would be a 35-year-old Nazem Kadri.
You know where I would be interested in Kadri if it was a 1 or 2 years. I think Nazem Kadri, with what he does, how he plays, I actually think he's a perfect fit for what the Canadiens want with their group of players right now. And I like the idea of bringing in a veteran player in their 30s to play a top producing role to kind of solidify the center ice position for the Canadiens moving forward. I like that. I don't hate your Pavel Zacha. I don't. It makes more sense age-wise, price-wise, term-wise. You're not going to get me to debate that. But in the here and the now, I think Nazem Kadri is a perfect fit. It'd be great if he was a player that was up for grabs with an expiring deal. He would be almost priority number one in that situation. But that's not the case. So you really have to sweeten that deal. You need to eat some money. If you're going to go down that path. And like you said, you go down that path, then you're kind of blocking other paths that you may want to go, as slim as they are. But if the question is Nazem Kadri a good fit for the Habs? If he were to be traded today, I think he's the perfect fit for the Habs. Now you talk about in 2028, we'd have some issues if I'm trying to forecast. But if I'm saying today, I think he's the player the Canadiens could use today. And this is a team that's in first place. So it's interesting to see all the different options the Canadiens could go if they want to go that position. But however, they've been looking at that position for over a year and still haven't really found what they wanted.
Campbell, I think people often forget, in hockey terms, how long 4 years is. 4 years left on Kadri's deal.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to put this into perspective for you,
yes.
Okay, how long 4 years is. 4 seasons ago, Carey Price played for the Canadiens. Like, in games.
I don't remember.
That's how long 4 years is. So when you look at a 35-year-old Nazem Kadri, yes, Campbell, you are 100% right. Today, he fits perfectly. Unfortunately, there's this year, next year, the year after that, and the year after that, all making $7 million. Is it impossible that he produces at 39 years old? No, it's not impossible. But if you look at the way the league is trending, except for some very, very rare exceptions, and usually those are exceptional players, 39 years old is ancient. So I would be buyer beware personally on Crosby. I don't blame the Canadiens for having him on the list. I don't blame the Canadiens if they've contacted the Calgary Flames to see what it would cost and what the future might hold for Nazem Kadri. But if I were to make a list, he would be lower on my list. There's plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. He would be my plan D. I'd have other players much higher on my list than Nazem Kadri.
39 years old is ancient. How old are you, Mitch?
Campbell, you missed one of the things I said. I said in hockey terms, 39 years old is ancient. And I'll tell you, when we play hockey, the next day, I feel ancient.
Yeah, you're not in the same shape as these guys. I'd like to open up the phone lines.
Man, you, Campbell, you have a new ailment every week after I talk to you when we play on Mondays.
Yeah, it's my elbows. There's something wrong with my elbow. I don't know what it is.
Last week it was your calf, and the week before that it was your ankle.
Well, my ankle's always there. That's always an issue. Don't worry about the ankle. That's been like 15 years. The new one is the elbow.
There's like a storm brewing that's going to hit us on Friday, and on Wednesdays, Campbell's like, oh, my ankle kind of feels sore today.
Yes.
I'm like, uh-oh, we're going to get thunder showers.
Exactly. Snowstorm coming. I'm telling you, I feel it in my ankle.